Myth number one. When just because you earn a really good salary, you've got a great career, you know how to manage your money. You don't always know how to manage your money, know how mortgages work, know how to save a deposit, know how to build your credit. You just don't. It reminds me of a client I worked with a couple of years ago, and she was a social media person. And when she first told me about what she did, boy, was it complicated. I mean, I'd only just started my YouTube channel and I didn't quite get how all of it worked. And she was explaining all these different marketing techniques, and we had such a fun chat. And then it came to the mortgage part and she just dropped her head. She explained how she'd been raised by a single mum and her mum had never owned. So she didn't understand how mortgages worked and she didn't really get it all. But I'd made her feel comfortable about talking about what she can do and highlighted the fact that she was a social media manager earning what she was earning, which was a really good salary for a luxury car industry, which is a male dominated industry anyway, and she was crushing it. But when it came to marketing, she knew her stuff. When it came to mortgages, she didn't. But that's nothing to feel bad about. As my mum always says, everybody's different, and that's what makes the world go round. So I was more than happy to help her get herself sorted and get her first property, and she was over the moon. But my whole point is, and this is what irritates me, when the other day when I was promoting my 90-day program where you can save a deposit in 90 days and buy your first property, and that's actually what I did. If you're a graduate and your salary is really, your starting salary is really decent, it is possible to do this, but you may not know the steps of how to do it. It doesn't equate. It reminds me actually of when I was in the top math set at school, and then they automatically put me in the top science sets, and I just drowned because just because you're good at maths doesn't mean you're good at science. A lot of people are, but not everybody is. And this is what really, really frustrates me. And this is why I needed to do this call today. Because I want everybody out there to realise that you can own your own property. You really, really can. And it's not down to sometimes your deposit, and it's down to a combination of things. But everybody thinks you save your deposit, you're good to go. But this is why I created the Get Mortgage Ready Club for people who really want to own their own property. They've made that decision, but then they're like, where do I even start? Yes, there's a lot of videos out there, be it YouTube, TikTok, or Insta, or wherever you are. But at the end of the day, to have a set program, to be able to day by day by day, every single day, go and know what you're doing, to have a community, which is what the Get Mortgage Ready Club is. And we're having like a coffee catch up this afternoon where people can come and they can ask questions, say what they're struggling with. I have got a lot of information within the Get Mortgage Ready Club, ways to deposit saving strategies, credit building strategy, sort of credit building program that's in there. And then also there's the Knowledge Hub, which has definitions of all the mortgage jargon and most of the buying process as well. I've got a module completely explaining the buying process. I've got a load of free resources. So there is a lot in there that is really, really helpful. But then that's the point of the coffee morning, because you can come along and you can ask, well, where do I go? What do I do? I've tried this, it didn't quite work. And we can have just a casual chat, because I love a good chat. But all I'm saying is, and the point of this video, let's bring it back, is it is a myth that just because you earn good money and you're crushing your career doesn't mean that everything else falls into place. And it shouldn't. No one's good at everything. That would be really annoying. And I love mortgages. And I was watching this thing the other day, and they're like, oh, you should do either what you're passionate about, what your profession is, or what your pain is. And for me, it's the trifecta. I'm really passionate from when I graduated from uni, I was already saving my deposit. I'd already got a job. I was already when I finished my last exam, I started my first job, and my graduation was like 6 weeks later. I'd already started saving. I actually worked summers and things like that in order to, the second I was, on a full-time salary, I was able to buy my first place because that was my priority. And then 4 years later, when it doubled in value, I was just like, so what investments can I get now? But that is my mindset, and that's the type of person I am. That's what I'm passionate about. I did accountancy for 20 years, but then at the end of 2020, after, with everything going on, and I had some family stuff going on, and I got made redundant all in the same time, I decided I didn't want to be an accountant anymore. And it just made sense. The fact that I love property and I'm really interested in that, why not make it my career? Why not combine my knowledge of finance with my passion for property? And that's why I became a CMAT qualified accountant. Within 6 months, though, meeting all these first time buyers and understanding that they didn't get, which I knew, and it felt selfish not to explain and work with them. So I used to work with them on a one-to-one, but it's gotten to the point now where I'm like, do you know what? This is what I want to do. The mortgage coach, this is what I want to do. And I can help people en masse within the Get Mortgage Ready Club. So it is all three. First it was the passion, and then it was probably the pain, the mistakes I made, the lessons I've learned, and that's what I teach. I only really teach what I've experienced or what other clients have experienced, which really does sort of allow me to give a different perspective. But all I'm saying is, and I need to keep on reiterating, it does not matter how good your salary is. So this person, I had because I do TikTok as well, and I had someone do a TikTok comment. Well, sure, because what I was doing is I was putting in people's salary, I was putting in what their living expenses would be roughly, and I was putting in what kind of deposit they'd be able to save. And I was saying, if you're willing to do that, join the 90-day program and I will help you with the rest. But what they were literally saying was, well, if they're on that kind of money, they must be able to do it themselves. And it's just like, that is not the case. And the thing I need to reiterate, and this is what I told this first time buyer that I was working with, it's not a problem that you don't understand. You are doing your career. The thing you do day in, day out, you know how to do. That is far more important. And then you just get someone like myself, who I call myself a mortgage coach because I'm a mortgage advisor, but I'm also a financial coach. So that's where the mortgage coach came in. So you can get someone like me who does that kind of thing, or you can get a mortgage advisor if you don't need the financial coaching element of it as well. But at the end of the day, that is not your priority. Your priority is to crush your career, is to learn everything you know about your industry, about your career, and do really, really well. And then you pay someone to do something else. Do you know? So that is what the Get Mortgage Ready Club is. Yes, the first tier is free. And within that, you do get, as I said, deposit saving strategy, your credit building, your know your numbers, so you know how all of that works, which is the starter kit really, and then all the other stuff. So every day I'm thinking, okay, what is another term that you would be good to know? And I put that in the hub. Or I think, what is a good resource that would be helpful, like my deposit evidence. It's amazing how many clients that have deposits but can't evidence the documentation that lenders will actually accept. So you need to be aware of things. There's some people that don't know, how to maintain their bank statements to keep them clean because lenders will ask for 3 months. So I teach you all of that. So now everybody knows that being good at your career is great, but it doesn't automatically equal that you're good with mortgages, and that's okay. And that was the point of the video. Take care.